This is question 3 of the Key Assessment 3 retest. ATP being made into ADP plus our phosphate. State the parts of the molecule that are common to DNA, RNA and ATP. These are all nucleotides, so they all contain this, which is a pentose sugar. That's a pentose sugar. They all contain this area here, which is our organic nitrogenous base. We don't know which base it is in these general molecules, so we can only just say base. So organic base or nitrogenous base. I'll say the false thing. Organic nitrogenous base. And we've got this area here, which is our phosphate or phosphates. So phosphate. And if you drew DNA, nucleotide of DNA, it would be the same sort of structure. What is meant by the term universal energy currency? This is just a definition why ATP is so useful. It's a source of energy for all reactions. So energy, source of energy for all reactions. That's where the universal comes in, and in all cells, in all organisms. So even if you're a bacteria, amoeba, a plant, a human, you can use this ATP as the energy currency. You can use it to buy actions like contracting muscles or active transport. State whether the reaction shown is exergonic or endergonic. These are a little bit like exothermic and endothermic. So remember, exothermic gives out heat, endothermic takes in heat. Well, this is the same, but it's just talking in terms of energy. So think about why we're using ATP. We're using ATP to get energy to do some work with. So these reactions will give out energy, and that's what we're using to contract muscles or send nerve impulses. So the answer to start with is exergonic. And that's in your notes. And yeah, energy is released. Energy is released. And you could even remember the number. The mark scheme actually doesn't put the per mole in if you're looking at the mark scheme. It's estimated that the mass of ATP is 5 grams. A human's got 50 kilograms. What's the percentage? So a straight percentage, which is our 5 grams divided by 50 kilograms times by 100. But we need to do a conversion. We can't work with different units, can we? So the easiest thing is to convert the 50 kilograms into grams. So 5 grams, and then this is 50,000, and times that by 100. When you do that in your calculator, it's 0.01%. So just a straightforward percentage. If you do sport, PE, then you'll come across this. This is creatine phosphate. Creatine phosphate is essentially a store of phosphate that we can make ATP quickly, and then the ATP is going to give us the energy. So we can see here This is creatine phosphate down here. Here's the phosphate part, and we add that onto ADP, so diphosphate, and make it into triphosphate. So that's where the phosphate's gone, and now that ATP is usable as a source of energy. Likewise, if we've got essentially too much ATP and we're now asleep and we don't need to use it, well, we can build up our store of phosphate again, because we don't want too much ATP. So we get the phosphate from triphosphate, get rid of it, and put it back onto the creatine, and then that's a store of phosphate when we need it. So A is going up. So when would we need to produce lots of ATP quickly? Under what circumstances? So A would be when we need ATP, when we're doing exercise, for example. So when exercising. And B would be the opposite of that, when relaxing at rest. And there's 4 marks, so we just need a reason for that as well. So during exercise we need to generate ATP quickly, and we do that by getting this phosphate. So I need to generate ATP quickly. Now the phosphate group from creatine phosphate is given to ADP. So really saying what you can see in the diagram. The phosphate from creatine phosphate given to ADP. So can make ATP. And when at rest, creatine phosphate made as a store of phosphate. And that's your 4 marks.